Roberto Cavalli, from runway excess to a brand reset. Roberto Cavalli once defined high-octane glamour, bold prints, exotic textures, and maximalist confidence. But after years of over-licensing, creative turnover, and private equity restructuring, the brand lost its edge and filed for creditor protection in 2019. In this episode of When Growth Goes Too Far, we explore as to how the Cavalli brand expanded aggressively into everything, from children's wear to luxury clubs, and how this diluted its core identity. Now owned by the Dubai-based Damac Group, Cavalli is attempting a revival that is as much about lifestyle and real estate as it is about fashion. Roberto Cavalli once ruled the runway with unapologetic excess. Animal prints, leather, and Italian glamour turned up to 11. But over time, the singular aesthetic became overused, over-licensed, and eventually out of fashion. In this episode, we'll look at how Cavalli went from high-octane luxury to a creative limbo, and how the Dubai-based developer is now trying to resurrect it. Let's start with the rise of runway fantasy. Founded in Florence in 1970s, Cavalli gained global traction in the late 90s and early 2000s. His look was maximalist and unmistakably Italian. Python print pants, slashed gowns, denim with gold inserts. Cavalli was the designer of choice for red carpet era of excess. By 2004, his brand generated over 200 million euros in revenue. This brings us to the licensing and the overextension. But with fame came expansion and then overextension. The Cavalli brand was licensed across everything from perfumes to children's wear, eyewear, and even home furnishing and nightclubs. While this brought short-term revenue, it blurred the brand's core meaning. What was Cavalli? A designer label or a lifestyle empire? By trying to become everything, it risked becoming nothing distinctive. And this is the time wherein private equity enters. By 2015, Italian private equity firm acquired majority stake in the brand. Their plan was to streamline, restructure, and revive. Peter Dundas was brought back as the creative director, but his glam rock revival didn't connect. Sales declined, stores closed, and Dundas exited in less than 2 years. By 2019, the company filed for creditor protection, which led to the Dubai pivot. Later that year, Cavalli was acquired by Damac Properties, the Dubai-based real estate giant. This was an unusual move. A developer now owned a fashion brand. Damac positioned Cavalli as a luxury lifestyle brand, with branded residential towers in Dubai and Miami and product collections under the new creative director. The question now isn't just fashion, it is, can Cavalli become a brand again, or is it just a name for licensing upscale real estate? So where does Cavalli stand as of today? Cavalli still exists and there are signs of a rebound. The new collections are cohesive, the brand is visible again on the red carpet, but it now straddles multiple categories: fashion, fragrance, real estate, each diluting the core unless clearly managed. Its revival depends on creative focus, not just global distribution. So what can we learn from Cavalli's journey? Brand hate fades fast when over-licensed, maximalism needs evolution, not repetition, and private equity needs time. Fashion rarely offers it. Cavalli's challenge wasn't just aesthetic fatigue, it was strategic overstretch. In trying to monetize fantasy, it forgot to renew its meaning. Now that's all that we wanted to share with you in this episode of When Growth Goes Too Far. This was a case study on Roberto Cavalli. Next time we'll pick up a new case study, so do stay tuned in for more. Thank you.